Hello to all the geek enthusiasts and nerd aficionados. Mess 5150. I am here. We are here. We need to talk Game of Thrones. I don't have a dragon, so I'm going to write in on my my little griffin. Draconis.
Oh my god. Oh, dude, no.
It's all I had.
That was visually disturbing.
We're sorry, people.
Welcome everybody to MaliceCast TV Talk. We just dropped somebody. He's coming back. There he is.
Off to a great
Welcome to MaliceCast TV Talk. We have a face that we haven't seen in a long while joining us, and it's much naked than it was before. But I'm Mess 5150. We're talking season 7, episode 4, The Spoils of War. Oh, yeah, we're gonna get into it, but let's talk about who's on the episode. So we will have somebody else joining us later once she catches up. She's finishing up. But with us, we have our binger of bingers for Game of Thrones, Beacon.
Hodor!
Christian Narn. Good shout out.
Yeah.
We have who's been a regular very, very recently, Mr. Icy Zorro.
Regular because I'm super interested in all the stuff we're talking about. I'm actually the one that got Jack Malice into Game of Thrones. I gave him the book.
Regular as in high in fiber.
And welcome Robert to
and also full of S.
and welcome Robert to the chat channel who says keep this PG for sake.
Yeah, I kept yeah, full of S, I said.
And joining us again in a long time, Mr. Aaron. You guys might not recognize him. He has a chin.
Yeah.
Wait, where's your beard?
Somebody stole it.
It got singed by Dragonfire.
I think Sarah's the only one allowed on this podcast without a beard.
There's
Pete.
growth there.
Oh, well,
It's okay.
That's fair.
So he brings his coffee cup instead. And occasionally, if he doesn't go full Hodor, we're gonna get some talk back from Jack Malice.
Yeah, Jack.
Hold on.
Yeah. That's appropriate.
So this episode was crazy awesome, and I really didn't think it was going to be at first. I don't know what your guys' thoughts were on that, but at first it felt like it was going to be one of the slowest episodes of the entire season.
It felt like if they were going to do a setup episode in this season, this was probably going to be it. And then it wasn't.
Yeah, no, God, anything but. This may have been taking the cake for the most awesome episode so far, and there's been some really good episodes this season so far. So,
is this like just to mention? Is this like 4 episodes in a row now with no sex scenes? I'm just wondering. I don't know if anybody's keeping track.
This show is supposed to be boobs and dragons. Where's all the boobs?
Nope, there was sex scenes. You didn't actually get a deep sex scene, but we had Cersei and Jaime last week.
Yeah, whatever.
We didn't see it.
Yeah, you didn't see it.
And also, who wants to?
What was that? Aaron?
Great Worm. Come on.
Oh yeah, yeah. Actually, yeah.
Good call. Good call.
Good call. Good call.
So,
flashbacks.
And specifically the Missandei and Grey Worm scene, I was like, man, those camera angles were about perfect because they was right there.
It was the mouth play episode. It was definitely the mouth play episode. So.
Flashbacks to Kingpin right there. If anyone knows that reference.
Things happen. So.
Hey, Aaron, we can barely hear.
They even threw back to it this episode.
Oh yeah.
What was that?
They even threw back to it this episode. That scene with Missandei and Grey Worm. Things happen.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah, they were
we'll
good.
get it. We'll get into that. So yeah, I mean, do you guys still want to talk about how amazing the episode was, or we just want to go right into the recap and start reacting?
Let's get into it.
So we open up, like I said, started off kind of slow. It's picking up right where the last episode ended after Elena told Jaime that she was the one that killed Joffrey, and you see that they're packing up everything from Highgarden, and Bronn to Jaime about everything going on. I mean,
thorn prick to the balls.
Queen of Thrones, give you one less prick on the balls. God, I love Bronn. I have missed that guy. I'm sad that he's on the wrong side.
For now.
I don't know if he's going to be tomorrow.
Yeah, no, he is the ultimate mercenary in this show.
Yeah.
I love the Lannisters always pay your debts, and then Bronn makes the comment, except to me.
Not to me.
And then he wants High
definitely
Garden.
Because we still have to think, how much does Tyrion owe that guy?
Well,
castle.
I can't remember if it was Tyrion or Jaime, but somebody promised him a castle.
Tyrion did.
Well, that's what he brought up in the actual conversation.
Yeah. I'll take that one.
Yeah, and then he goes, you don't want that one. Besides, think of the upkeep. great Jaime line there.
So you got it. That's a lot of money. you just got, but that's not enough for that.
Yeah.
I'll get back to Super Hoovian's comment in the chat when we get to that scene, because it was kind of a good little. That she'll be on soon. Bronn pretty much sticks it to Jaime in terms of that he needs to bit of a pair again, especially against Cersei. So, and you see that the gold is there. They've got the gold that they need to pay debts, and it jumps straight to Cersei talking to the man from the Iron Bank, which once again, Sherlock's brother,
Mark Gatiss. Not only Sherlock's brother, he actually produces that show as well and helps write it.
Writer and producer. He actually started out
Dual
as a writer.
He's not just Sherlock's brother, he's an actual genius.
Yeah. So so we get a little foreshadowing with that to what's going to happen later in the episode, that this is going to bite Cersei back. She brings up that she's paying the debts better than even her father.
And if you remember, when in the episode previous where she said, "Oh, wait a fortnight, they'll be paid," and we all kind of went, "What? How the hell are you going to do that?" I guess now we know.
Yes, robbery,
clearing the coffers of somebody else.
Yes, and then the quote from the guy from the Iron Bank is, "You can count on the Iron Bank's support as long as the gold arrives."
As long as
the gold arrives. So.
I mean, I guess it's not just borrowing from Peter to pay Paul; it's robbing and killing Peter to pay Paul.
Oh yes,
yes, very much.
Yeah.
Very much in the Lannister tradition.
Yeah,
yeah, but I mean, he brings up again last episode. He brought up the factor of how she learned well from her father. But in this one, he just basically says, "You straight out surpassed your father."
Yeah, absolutely. Tywin was ruthless, but Cersei is vicious.
Yeah,
there's a big difference. A lot of I
think it's because Tywin, as brilliant and ruthless as he was, he had restraint. He had an eye to the future at all times.
Oh yes.
Cersei doesn't have that. Cersei, she will get what she wants right now, but she does not care what happens in the future as long as she gets what she wants.
Yeah, Tywin was very, very calculating.
Yes.
She's not banking on what they could have given to her in the long run. She's just banking on ripping the world down and rebuilding it in her.
Well, and there's the scene, I can't remember if it was this episode or the previous one, between her and Jaime, where she says, "Look, we're all that's left. There is no," she said something about a Lannister legacy, and it was just, "No, we're all that's left." They don't have to plan for the future.
Yeah, we're all that matters.
That too, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
and then Robert, a good call out from Robert. I'll change the wordage though, that he as in Jaime cares. He actually gives a damn, whereas she doesn't. Whereas Cersei doesn't care.
True.
So there is that. We can definitely see that difference.
What the?
Yeah, we gotta get farther along before we can read some of these comments. If you haven't joined us in the chat channel before, you definitely need to join us live if you can, because the chat channel conversations are amazing. So there's some great stuff. They're obviously ahead of us already, so we'll keep chugging along here.
Yeah. So we get into the first major scene of the episode, and that is Littlefinger and Bran. All these next to each other. We had Bronn in the first scene, and then Bran in the third scene. Littlefinger's giving Bran a dagger, which is the dagger that was meant to kill Bran after seeing Cersei and Jaime.
The Valyrian dagger from the first season.
The cat's paw dagger.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good call out.
Very good. Very good. And the one major quote that I want to pull from this specific scene is "Chaos is a ladder."
Yeah, and I want to give the backstory on that. So that comes from season 3, episode 6, "The Climb," and it comes from a conversation between Baelish and Varys.
Yes.
And it goes like this: Baelish says, "The realm. Do you know what the realm? Oh, hold on. The realm. Do you know what the realm is? It's 1,000 blades of Aegon's enemies. A story we agreed to tell each other over and over until we forget it's a lie." And then Varys says, "But what do we have left once we abandon the lie? Chaos? A gaping pit waiting to swallow us all?" And then Baelish says, "Chaos isn't a pit. Chaos is a ladder. Man who tries to climb it fail and never get to try again. The fall breaks them, and some are given a chance to climb. They refuse. They cling to the realm or the gods or love, illusions. Only the ladder is real. The climb is all there is." I loved that scene because it's totally Bran just calling Baelish out on all of his BS.
And did you see the look on Peter Baelish's face when he said chaos is a ladder? He's like, especially after the previous episode where he said, "Fight all battles, think of all possibilities at all times, fight all wars on all sides," and all of a sudden there's something he could not possibly have seen.
Yep.
Bran's the wild card. He's going to have something big, huge part to play. And I don't think that, because Littlefinger, like you said, is a guy who fights all wars on all fronts simultaneously. And having that sort of a wild card, especially one that he can't buy, is going to screw him up royally.
Yeah. Loved that scene. It was so amazing. Because it was coming right off the back of, we saw last week, the interaction between Bran and Sansa, where, you know, he makes the comment to Sansa, just that proof of who he is now. And
the darkest thing he could have said to her.
Well,
Yeah, of all the, I love, what was it, the tweet that I saw that was like, he could have told him about Littlefinger, could have told about Jon, could have told about, "Oh, let's talk about your wedding night."
Yeah.
Like, here's all this stuff.
It looks so beautiful. It's so sad that happened.
Let's talk about that.
She's like, "I gotta go."
Awkward. Yeah. So what next is
well, then we got
Arya's homecoming, right?
Well, not yet. We and that's exactly what Arya said.
Daddy's not
Where's
there.
Daddy?
Yeah.
Where's Daddy?
He gone.
He's down in the catacombs.
No,
it doesn't look
got
like
a little bit of interaction, finding more and more of what Bran has become. He was talking to the Reed daughter that had been with him through everything, and she's stated the factor that she had to go back to her family with all this stuff coming, and she was
goes,
expecting,
"You don't need me anymore," and he's like, "Yeah, you're right, I don't."
Yeah, no emotion, no, you know.
She was expecting a human reaction, not
exactly,
not the robotic three-eyed raven that he's become.
Right.
Yeah, the kid has lost all emotion. Like, he just...
Well, he's not Bran. He's not Brandon anymore.
Bran is gone.
In a manner of speaking, he's almost lost what it means to be human. He's lost his Bran Stark-ness.
Right.
So,
and she tries to throw that back.
I like how he mentions he remembers what it's like to be Brandon Stark.
Yeah.
And it's really that confirmation that Mira is already thinking is going on, which is and she confirms it at the end, like you died back in that cave.
Yep.
Yeah, and he's, she's, which, exactly. That's what I was going to bring up.
Yeah.
You beat me to it. So it's just confirmation that he's he's 100% three-eyed Raven. He's not.
I just wish that he had
Okay.
had more time to actually become the three-eyed Raven, because it seems like the Targaryen, I can't remember what his name was, that became the three-eyed Raven that taught Bran. That guy knew more, had accepted more, and like he was very much more in control of the powers. But I suppose at this point, that's kind of part of the plot, is that Bran is the new three-eyed Raven, and he doesn't have full control.
Because
of those
he
powers.
was cut short. I mean, he didn't have a chance to get his full training, so to speak, for that transfer to happen.
Silly White Walkers.
He is the Luke Skywalker of the.
Fair point. Ooh, good analogy. Totally done with that one.
Just losing his legs instead of a hand.
Yeah, there you go.
Just bright-eyed and bushy-tails. Oh man, I gotta go get some power converters. Wait.
Exactly.
And yeah, that's Robert points out in the chat channel as well. Bran was rushed into it. I keep getting those two names.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. If you remember, he was getting anxious and went and kind of put himself into the trance.
Well, that's the
when
thing
the White
too.
Walkers saw him. If he hadn't done that, they wouldn't have known where he was. And
this is thoughts and reactions as well. I wonder almost, how much of it, the emotional aspect being gone is based off the factor of him rushing himself into it and learning what he created when he did what he did with Hodor.
Oh yeah.
When and if that's really where he's like, I can't care about anything. I can't let emotion because.
Well, I also wonder if it's the incomplete or flawed transfer of power kind of shorted out the emotional centers of his brain. Like it was so overwhelming that now he can't do anything but that.
It's possible, but if you look at the way that the three-eyed Raven before him acted, he was sort of void of emotion too.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't care about Bran's legs.
But I thought that was more of a function of the fact that he had been the three-eyed Raven for like 120 years. He was one of the Mad King's grandfather's brothers, if you read the old canon stuff. So like he had been locked in a tree for 120 years.
Yeah. That can have something to do with it too. But I'm imagining that to quote Spider-Man, great power comes great responsibility, and he sort of transcended past that. So with
great power comes great emo.
Sort of, yeah. If you
Spider-Man 3, yeah.
But if once you transcend past that and the responsibility becomes all you are, the emotion kind of gets bypassed. So you can see where Bran might have that disconnect.
Oh, I totally buy that. Yeah. What does everybody else think?
Yeah, no, totally agree.
That's why my thoughts were on that. So exactly. So then we go to Arya.
Then Arya's homecoming. Yeah.
Yes.
And
which once again, just moving now in these episodes because she got
everybody's got a transportation gun at this point.
No,
they're all Rick and Morty right now.
No,
it took 2 episodes.
It took her 2.5 episodes to get there. Okay, she's no Jon Snow. Okay, she can't.
Okay, but from the Midlands where Hot Pie was to Winterfell is what 900 miles. Yeah. Do you remember when that took a season and a half?
I do.
Those were dense seasons, okay?
Yeah.
Granted,
that was when the
showrunners
were like, "We don't know what the end game is here."
I also remember when I had.
We got to stretch this out until Martin either writes another book or tells us what the heck we're doing.
And then they're like, "Screw it, we just got to go."
No, come on. If they had read Martin, they know that they had plenty of time. No, but I appreciate that they're approaching the end game, so they know they have to snap it up. They've got storylines to knock out, and you know what? We don't need to see the travel time. We just don't.
Well, and everybody's getting older, and everybody's getting better Hollywood contracts and stuff like that. Go ahead, Aaron. Sorry.
No, I was just saying that's why they invented fast travel. We don't need to watch that stuff anymore.
Can we talk?
Skip cutscene.
Just click on Winterfell and go.
Would now be an okay to talk real quick about this nasty Arya rumor that's been going around?
Oh, which one?
Can we dispel it real quick? The rumor that this is not actually Arya, it's actually the waif from that Arya's dead and she took Arya's face. And I just want to say it. The reason I brought it up is because I want to totally dispel that.
Yes, please.
Because
that would be entirely unsatisfying.
Why would she go and kill the Freys, right? Why would she be the water dancer that she is in this episode? Like,
if the waif had taken Arya's place, she would have no reason to do any of this except that she was Arya. But no, she would have no motivation for that. Right. And clearly, the waif died in that little tomb.
Arya could have stayed in Bravos. Arya could have been the assassin that the House of Black and White wanted her to be. But instead, she's back in. She even claimed her own name, which was, I think, part of the training to begin with that Jack wanted her to be. So, yeah, I don't. I see the waif popping back.
Yeah, totally.
And since we brought up Hodor, Robert did bring up in the chat channel a little off subject, but have we ever thought about the possibility of Hodor White Walker?
Yeah, and we
was like, definitely, and we think it would be awesome.
That would be a nearly unstoppable White Walker.
And that would be both awesome and completely devastating.
Terrifying. Yes,
man.
Yeah.
As if 1-1 the Giant wasn't a bad enough white.
Seriously,
Hodor.
Oh man.
I'm sorry.
So
that
Arya
was your
shows
on fire. Yeah.
Arya shows up. She tells the guardsmen that she is Arya Stark, and they laugh at her. And
did anybody else get super pumped as soon as they realized that Arya was at Winterfell?
Oh yes.
I sat up and I was like, "Oh my god, homecoming! Yes, another one. This is going to be sweet." And then, of course, the guards, idiot guards. Wait, where did she go?
Well, you had Porkins and
but she says I'm getting into this castle one way or the other. Like, so.
Yeah.
Well, and the first part where you could see that he's a little intimidated at first is when he tries to swipe at her and she just like moves real quick. It's like,
oh yeah, he reaches for her and she's like,
bullet time.
Wait a minute, what?
Pretty much. You got to wonder if she's seeing everything in slow motion now because she's so badass.
She is so trained to combat, and we'll get to that scene later because I loved that scene too.
Oh yeah.
But oh my god, like who in that fortress is going to stop Arya from anything?
Oh god, yeah. And she points to that too.
Even if they had locked the gates, she would have showed up in Sansa's room like, "Hey, sister, who are you?"
Yeah. She said she's gonna find a way, and that's sort of the thing where the doubt. I don't know where the fear of Sansa's coming from. She's been doing a good job of running things, but she doesn't seem like she's a fearful person to.
Well, let's hold on to this because. Yeah. I got a great point to bring up when we get to the Bree training Arya scene, because I think that's where what your guys are talking about comes to light.
Well, to Mess's point, the fear of Sansa in the castle, like the reason that the guards respect her is that Jon is the king of the North, and Sansa has been, hey, F you, Jon, in all councils that we've seen. Yeah. She's standing up to him. She's got respect from him, and he's in charge. He's the king of the North. Yep. So yes, Sansa is someone to be respected at this point.
Yeah,
but they're afraid to even approach her.
I have a feeling that fear comes from the fact that I can guarantee you that everyone in that castle knows that she fed Ramsay Bolton to his own dogs.
God, I hope so.
Yeah, that could be. Yeah, that could be. That could definitely.
I have a feeling because no one in there is nearly as woohoo as Ramsay was, and if she'll do that to him, she basically told the entire northern region to bring it.
Yeah.
Statement.
But also there's the fact that Sansa trained, air quotes, trained for so long under Cersei. She even at the beginning of the season had Cersei's same hairstyle from when she had long hair. And she's becoming that ruthless, like, don't F with me. Like, I'm going to get you. That kind of power. So I'm a little worried about Sansa. I respect her more than I used to, but Yeah, no, I understand why people are scared of her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that was my only, because they were like fighting over who was going to actually go and talk to her and let her know who, that one.
No, a fight would not
Arya
have
disappeared
gone
on
well,
her.
as
So-
we see later.
Which is what happens. They get in there, they let Sansa know about her showing up, and that it was just it wasn't even her, it was just some random little girl that came in and she disappeared, and they'll find her. They don't know, and when they start,
Can I say Big Papa Matt just said she's a Stark, plain and simple, no other reason. They would be terrified of anyone else with the same last name. So that is true. When you're in the North, the name Stark holds a lot of
weight.
Mm-hmm. Sorry. Continue.
one thing that wasn't brought up that Robert brought up that I like his comment was when Littlefinger calls Bran the Lord of the North, or Lord Stark, and he's like, I'm no, I'm not.
But he is the Bronn the three-eyed creeper. I like that.
Yeah.
I like what he says is, I'm not. What he says is, I'm not the Lord of the North. I can never be the Lord of anything.
Yeah.
And you realize, like, oh no, he's a whole nother person at this point. He's a whole different entity.
He's more Night's Watch than anything. He's holding that. No lord, no title, no wife, no nothing.
Right.
He's holding closer to that than anyone on the actual Night's Watch is.
Well, now that John took over and everything, yeah.
Big hello to Super Hoovian, who's finally finished
She's working on it.
Finish the episode.
Yeah, finally finished the episode.
There you go.
Welcome. Say hello to everybody.
That was an episode, man.
We're up to
we're
up to Bran and the Arya homecoming.
Yeah. Kind of towards the back end of that.
Exactly. So we were actually getting into right now, unless you had any quick little thoughts on anything leading up to Arya showing up.
Yeah, what were your thoughts on Arya showing up to Winterfell?
Well, it went a lot happier than when Bran showed up to Winterfell. There was no, there was them reminiscing over their father. There was no, oh, look, you look beautiful on the night that you were horribly defiled by your husband, like.
Well,
so on that level.
But at the same time, they're both still kind of emo at this point.
Yeah. She doesn't know what to make of him at this point. I mean, she almost looked disappointed when she was watching her fight with Brienne.
Well, no, we're not
there yet.
We're just.
I don't know where you're at.
No, we're just at Arya getting home right now.
I did.
Oh, okay, Arya getting home, but she did put one over on the guards, so that was pretty funny.
And I did love that Sansa says, "You shouldn't have run from the guard," and she says, "I don't run. You need better guards.
You need better guards."
Oh
yeah.
But yeah. So no horrible. I mean, but it was awkward. They're all so different.
I feel like the only Stark children reunion that's been like emotionally satisfying has been Sansa and Jon, where they're like, yes, oh my God, you, and everybody else has been like, hey, it's you, and
I mean, Sansa and Arya, there was some moments there. They hugged it out, but
they've been.
Remember, we thought it wasn't going to be a great. We thought it wasn't going to be a great. A little bit animosity there.
Yeah, but I always kind of thought, like, even as terrible of sisters as they were, they would have that, like, oh my God, you're my family, good to see.
Well, yeah. And the books do a better job of that. Of like because if you remember, like in book 2, there's plenty of moments where Arya's like, even if I saw Sansa, I would show her the respect. I would treat her like a lady and like she should. She's my sister. I still love her. Like there's moments where she's saying that while she's on her way to the Night's Watch.
I totally respect that you're saying that.
The show doesn't do that.
Currently reading book 2 because I haven't read it in like 6 years.
But the show never really did that. The show put a lot more animosity between the two of them, I thought.
I think they did allude to how much both of them have grown, because if you would have seen Arya and Sansa interact the way that they have done just now in the first season, there would have been a fight. There would have been anger. But right now, Arya's first words to Sansa were, do I have to call you Lord Stark now?
Lady Stark. Yeah.
And she says,
I suppose so.
yeah. She said yes.
No, she
And
said,
there was
yes,
no
you
fight.
do. Yeah.
Both of them smiled. That's the thing. They've come far enough that they can say dickish things to one another, it out, and hug afterwards.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
That's a great evolution for both of their characters.
Totally agree. Totally agree.
It shows the far, far distance that they have both come, and I truly appreciate it.
Yeah. So,
What do we got next?
which I thought the funny thing about that scene was Arya saying that it wasn't a very good likeness of Ned on the statue, and I was like, that's actually a pretty good statue.
I totally disagree. That is a fantastic statue. When I was watching with one of my roommates, and I was like, man, that was a really good likeness of Ned Stark, and she's like, doesn't look like him. I'm like, what?
It's the feminine eyes. It's got to be.
You know they can see twice as many colors.
It's there was a head on his body. There weren't a bunch of arrows sticking out of his chest.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Somehow 26, 23 years later, still too soon.
Too soon, yeah. Oh, Boromir.
So
Boromir.
the next scene, we got bringing Daenerys down to the cave before demolishing it for the for all the dragon glass.
I'm sorry. Was anybody else surprised that nobody else had been in that cave in the last, I don't know, 2,000 years? It's right on the beach at the bottom of the stairs.
Well,
What the hell?
What was the purpose?
but if you think about it, that was abandoned. Storm's End was abandoned for a long. Wait,
Dragonstone.
Dragonstone was abandoned for quite a while, and Stannis just went down there and took his army down there. So it's not like
it was abandoned.
It was the ancestral seat of House Targaryen. That's where Daenerys was born.
So you got to think it's been pretty much unoccupied for like 19 years.
And nobody that lived there before Daenerys was born went down to that little weird cave right by the bottom of the stairs and saw all the carvings.
Even if they did, that's all it is to them. It's just a bunch of stick figures.
Yeah, they wouldn't have a frame of reference for it.
I guess since they're somewhat prophetic, I guess it only applies now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if anybody looking at it, they wouldn't have the wherewithal to say this is a White Walker.
Right.
Yeah.
That's true.
The only person who would have known that significance would have been Jon Snow, and he's like, that's why no one would have clicked with that.
No, I get that, and that's one of the great things about fantasy writing is that things don't make sense until the people that are meant to see them see them.
Yep.
That's good. I like that.
The one line that I forgot from the whole Sansa, Bronn, and Arya under the tree was
Bran, not Bronn.
Bran. Yeah, we keep doing that.
Bran and Bronn are totally
the list is not a freaking joke, Sansa. Okay, like
yes,
the list is not a joke.
yes, because
She thought it was.
Because Arya mentions her list. She's like, "Oh no, people I need to kill." She's like, "What?"
Like, ha! And they laugh.
That's so funny. And then Bran shows up, and she's like, "Oh no, he was on her list."
Because
Like,
Cersei's on her list, and she's like,
what?
who else is on this list? Most
She
of
did
them
a
are
full-
dead.
She did a full-on Family Guy. What?
Back to the chat room. Big Papa Matt bringing up about the reunions between brought up Rickon and John was a pretty sad reunion as Rickon had an arrow through his chest. That's a pretty emotional reunion.
I think the John Arya one will be the one that tops them.
Let's forget about that because no one really liked Rickon anyway.
Well, and Aaron, you may have missed, and I'm gonna do this dad joke one more time. Rickon really only had one line in this series, and it was a straight line, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Zig, when he's running up, me and my wife were like, zig and zag, zig and zag.
Serpentine, dude.
we got the reason that there's not a great connection between the two of them. Once again, for Big Papa Matt, Arya, they're being cordial with each other, but Arya wasn't coming back to see Sansa. She went north to see John because that's the only sibling that ever understood her.
That is second person it was the first person she asked for, and the only reason she asked for Sansa was because that Lord Snow's not here.
Nope.
Yeah.
God, I can't wait for that one, man. As many uniting of amazing characters as we've seen, as many family reunions as we've seen, when Arya and Jon get together. Martin, please don't kill anyone.
That he has no control of that anymore.
Yeah, I know. It's just
That's what happens when you
that's
finish the damn
gotta
book.
be. Oh my God, when they see each other,
Yeah.
I'm gonna cry.
That is going to be the best reunion. Yeah,
I'm gonna straight up cry.
So there's a great conversation going on in the chat channel about just Arya showing up and everybody's reaction. Sansa, that she's putting on a facade, which will or that she's just doing an act, and that Littlefinger's seeing another Stark to try and
manipulate.
Impress.
But we'll get to that in a few moments.
We will get to that.
Yeah.
What's
so,
the
and
next
that's
one?
that's the scene we missed, since you guys brought it
back
up.
to
We
dragons.
did miss to go and talk to Bran at first. And,
we were. I'm sorry, we were at the Jon and Dany in the cave.
But and right before that, you have the King's. Oh no, that's never mind. That's later on. I don't want to. The King's.
No, right before that, you did have them. Sansa telling Arya that Bran is also here.
Right.
They went and talked to him, and she realized that he's not who he is, and she saw the dagger. She's like, "Who the heck would with Valyrian steel would be trying to kill you?" He's like somebody that was rich.
No.
And
at one point, he somebody asked him who would. I can't remember what.
Who
it was.
would have
It was
Valyrian steel?
And he said something along the line, or no, it was who would want this dagger? And he said, "I don't," and handed it off.
He handed
to
it to Arya.
Yeah,
To
that was
Arya.
at the end, though. That was at the end.
Is that okay?
I believe the line was, "It's wasted on a cripple."
Yeah, it's wasted on a cripple, because he knows that Arya is going to be in the north, and that Arya is going to. This is my prediction, that she's going to end up being where there's White Walkers, and so the Valyrian steel is going to protect her.
Yeah.
That's my.
She's absolutely going.
that's probably
to point.
Or he
that
wants
was
to
Bran's.
see. Or he wants to see that dagger in Cersei, because what irony would that be that she sends the dagger to kill Bran, and then that
But she
dagger
wasn't
ends up
the
being
one-
what kills her.
she
But
wasn't the
it's
one
not
that
what's
sent-
gonna happen, so yeah.
She wasn't the one that sent the assassin, though.
Is it
Joffrey
canon?
was.
Is it
No.
Was it? No, it was Kent.
No.
No, it was Jaime and Cersei.
No,
thought
it was
I thought it was
Joffrey.
Tyrion. I thought it was Tyrion.
It was Joffrey
It
the
wasn't,
entire
Joffrey
time.
wasn't even the king at that point.
No,
It
Joffrey
doesn't
had
matter.
Joffrey
Jo-
had no. Joffrey had no power at that point.
Yes.
No, but
Joffrey was getting slapped around by
He
his own.
did it. He did it because they offended his family. He is the one that hired the assassin. He's the one that took a dagger from Robert Baratheon's armory and gave it to the assassin, and that's why it was so sloppily done. If Cersei had orchestrated it, Bran would have been dead.
And
If Jaime
You need
And
to
if-
or
remember,
Tyrion had done
and if
it, Bran
Tyrion
would have
had
been
done
dead.
it, it would have been done. Yeah.
Yeah, but no,
Okay,
but if
I'm gonna need
Summer
to
wasn't there,
research
it would have been
this.
done. So it doesn't.
Yeah.
If you guys
But-
remember the Caspian dagger, how it
Yeah.
ended up with Baelish was he took it from Ned Stark, because he took it from
No. It was a dagger that Tyrion had won from Baelish in some tourney.
Right.
Baelish got it back.
Allegedly.
Well, not allegedly.
gave it
It's
back to
actually part of the story. He got it back through. God, I can't remember.
Tyrion gave it back to him.
Yeah.
Regardless of how he got it back, the original owners, before it was taken to give to the assassin, it was a gift from Ned Stark to Robert Baratheon.
Oh.
The dagger was?
Yes. It was in Ned Stark's possession at one point, and he gave it to Robert Baratheon. Baratheon put it in his armory, and Joffrey, when he was still Baratheon's son,
Prince,
Okay.
yeah.
took it.
Anyway, yeah.
Research required.
Anyway.
Absolutely.
So we got done with that, and then we were in the cave. We saw the drawings, and this is where Jon tells him that the original men and the nature men had
The
to
children.
get together.
I believe it's called the First Men.
The
First
first
men
men and
The
the
first
children.
men and the nature and the children, had to join together to fight a common enemy,
Which the children
was-
created.
Yes.
Spoiler.
Yep. Well, no, that's already been in the episode.
I
No, I know. I was watching
You're
somebody
good.
that was like, why are they fighting the person that they create? I don't. Yeah.
Why do we fight the robots every time there's an AI?
Matt said it was Tyrion that hired the killer.
That's what I thought.
He paid to keep his siblings' secret safe.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Well,
Anyway.
I don't think it's been revealed in the show exactly who was responsible yet.
Well, maybe we'll find out when they see the dagger.
There's been a lot of alleged things thrown around, but anyway.
So he tells them that they need to join because look, here's proof on a wall that there's these White Walkers are out there. They're, we need to join forces. And she's like, well, you need my dragons, you need my stuff. And he's like, yeah. And she's like,
bend the knee.
She throws her weight around again. Yeah.
She totally believes him at this point, and yet she's still prideful enough to be like, you know what? This is bad. This is going to kill everybody. But you know what? Bow, dude.
Well, I mean, it's her right from the very beginning, since she's 12 years old, promised to Drago. I mean, she's been holding that line that she's the blood of the dragon. She's the rightful heir at this point. Viserys is dead. It's her throne. It's her people. It's her kingdom.
And she's proved it in so many ways.
And so, yeah, if you want me to help you, then you need to bow. Like, she's done enough in her time that she shouldn't have to.
I think
that's where she's at.
I think it's us watching the story from the outside where we're like, come on, get over it. There's the army, the dead. But in that scenario, like from her viewpoint, I totally get it. Like, no, I'm conquering here. This is my place. If you want help with anything, you ask me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she just doesn't get it that he keeps trying to tell her, if I do this, they're not going to respect, they're not going to follow because South is just, they don't want it.
What would you do if you were in Jon Snow's place? How would you convince Daenerys?
By bending the damn knee and getting over with it, dude. Like,
but then how do you go home?
Because the North is always, the thing is the North has always had an alliance for thousands of years with the Targaryens. So
yes.
To say that, oh, my people aren't going to follow me anymore, that's kind of BS, dude, because they've always been loyal
to the Targaryens. Yeah.
To the Targaryens. So he's actually keeping an oath, as was brought up last episode, by sticking with Dany. But
I did, and that was one of my favorite things about the last episode was that thank God we're not our father's children. Was the well, if I'm not held to your father, if you're not held to your father's madness, then I'm not held to my father's oaths. But at the same time, yeah, there's thousands of years of tradition there, and I don't know. The fact that the Northmen chose him as a bastard, as a guy that used to be part of the Night's Watch, like they're breaking from tradition. So I don't know how good bringing Daenerys home would be.
Sorry, we're reading the chat channel. It's freaking amazing. I gotta give a shout out to Marco. He was joining us. He says, what if before Jon takes Dany in the cave, Davos said to Jon, hey, let's draw some White Walker pictures so that she will believe us.
I'm sorry.
Just gotta chisel it in and get some blue for the eyes.
As funny as that is, Davos isn't that smart.
No, he's not.
and honestly, he doesn't have the handwork for it.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And I'm pretty sure he doesn't believe Jon.
And it would all smell like
he's just going along with it because Stannis died. He doesn't know what the hell to do with himself now.
Maybe. I think she's starting to believe him, but she doesn't trust anybody. She only trusts a very, very small few amount of people for a very damn good reason.
I think she absolutely believes him because
I think she believes him, just doesn't trust him yet.
She absolutely believes him. She just doesn't know the scale of the thing that it's going to be. She thinks it's like, oh, there's one or two like undead people north of the Wall. Cool.
Her response
whatever.
Every time is, and I have 3 dragons. There's nothing that can touch me. And
her response every time is, what can you do for me?
Yeah, but
it's
always like, you need my dragons. You need my army. She's throwing away.
after this episode, she's going to be reevaluating the whole Three Dragons thing.
And there's a very debated conversation going between Super Hoovy and Freak and Jack Malice about who sent the assassin. Way to go, Ices Earl, for starting.
I still think it was Tyrion.
I already looked it up on the wiki. Actually, in the books,
what does the wiki say?
In the books, according to it, there's no concrete evidence that Joffrey sent it, but
I never thought that Joffrey.
Wait, let him finish. Let him finish.
Both Tyrion and Jaime deduced together that it was Joffrey. So more than likely, it is a fact that he was actually the one who sent it. Because
the more I think about it, the more it makes sense.
Yeah. So yeah.
Because Cersei and Jaime would have never Tyrion would have never tried to do that in Winter. There's a lot of weird stuff with that. You're right.
That was too much of a brash, bold, out. Yeah, it was too much of a move.
Tyrion would have been smart enough to not use a dagger that could be traced back to him.
Right.
There's no way on Earth that he would be like, here's a Valyrian steel dagger that only 6 of exist in the world and can easily be traced back to me. Please take this and go murder the son of Eddard Stark. No, he's not that stupid.
Yeah.
So
not at all. No, you're right. The more I think about it, the more it's probably Joffrey.
There's no fingerprints when you throw a 10-year-old out of a window, too. So.
No. So.
What are we up to? What's the next scene? What do we got?
Well, the next scene is a big one because this is something I've been calling out for the last 3 episodes. So they walk out of the cave, and there's once again travel going super fast again. There's
everybody has a portal gun now.
Well, there's Tyrion, and he has good news. Just doesn't want to talk about bad news, but he's got good news. He's like, we took
Casterly Rock.
Casterly Rock, yeah.
I'm trying. And so she's like, okay, but
that's good, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's where the ball drops that basically he got outsmarted. So on this plan, and Daenerys finally, what I've been saying is going to happen since the Ironborn got attacked in the first episode, she blames her. His strategy, everything. The reason that they've been losing everything is strictly because what Tyrion's plan has been.
At one point, she says, "Oh well, everything we seem to be losing is from your plan."
Yeah, not just your plan, from your family.
Your family.
Yeah. She's like, your strategy has lost us. Your plan. You mean your family? You mean kind of throwing it as, are you purposely doing this to? Are you a spy in the ranks type of thing? Almost.
Which, of course, as outside observers, we know is ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't think she necessarily thinks he's a spy. I think that she believes that he's trying to spare his family out of some sort of obligation.
Yeah. I disagree. I think she thinks he's a spy.
She's doing the same thing she did to Varys in the first episode, where she's kind of just taking that stick and poking a little to find out where do you actually lie? Where is your sides? Are you doing this on purpose, or are you just making a stupid plan?
Yeah,
started by your siblings,
which we know is actually happening. Jaime explained that, and then the scene with Olenna, he's like, "So we just went where he wasn't and took everything that he thought he had secure."
Mm-hmm.
So it's clearly Tyrion's not doing this on purpose, and as we all saw in the first couple episodes, we all thought it was a great plan. Turns out,
everybody did. Yeah. The second he mentioned, "Oh, we're going to take Casterly Rock," that's when
get it.
That's when the Dorne and Elena, they all oh yeah, that's good.
Yeah, we're in. Yeah,
but once again, like I said in the first talk back, everything hits the fan. It's not going to be going back at the Dornans. It's not going to be going back at the Tyrells. It's not going to be going back at Daenerys. It's going to get all thrown at Tyrion. Tyrion's going to be under the blame for something again, just like he got under the blame for Joffrey.
Tyrion is either going to end up one of the grand heroes at the end, or dead by mid-season 8.
I still think he's going to be a grand hero, but he
I
just
would
the
hope
guy.
so.
The
I
guy has
personally
no
hope so.
luck with high-ranking females. He just-
Tyrion continues to do everything that the rulers around him want. He produces and produces and produces, and then just gets cut down afterwards.
It's easy to cut him down when he's only half a man.
I know. Yeah. Low swinging.
So swinging for the ankles.
Yeah.
So Dany wants to
Burn them all.
Yeah, it's time to become the Queen of the Ashes. She's sick of this.
burn these mother to the ground.
And he tries to rein her in. This is not the right solution. We have to stick to what we're doing. Da da da.
She's just like, I don't need your opinion, but then she asked John for his opinion.
And this is where I love John.
That is where you see that she's finally believing John, that she is, she asks John for guidance.
And he gives her maybe the best guidance, because we don't see it all on screen. What we see on screen is him saying, no, don't do that. And then there's the next screen, which implies that off screen he was like, don't do this, but maybe. And that's.
We've gotten a response to if Tyrion dies from Robert that they kill him off. He's burning HBO to the ground. So we're getting if Daryl or Carol die on Walking Dead, we riot. They're doing the same thing with Tyrion now.
If Tyrion dies on HBO, nobody will watch. Well, no, everybody will still watch.
Yeah.
Because then we'll have Hodor and Tyrion.
Oh, what if Tyrion's like riding like
what if Tyrion's riding Hodor?
Forget it. No Team Stark, no Team Lannister. Team White Walker.
And Marco brings up a good point. Tyrion tried diplomacy. Tyrion trying a diplomacy route, but in this world, you see what happened. So yeah, you can't be diplomatic with the way that you're fighting war.
But I like what John says, though. I mean, he says like, if you do what you're saying you're gonna do, you are no better than anybody else that's ruled in the South. And there was a mention in the comment channel, the chat channel a little earlier about that the South is tired of what's been going on. Like they're tired of the same old rulers, and they need Dany. They need her to be the type of ruler that she was.
Every time you say Dany, it sounds like daddy. They need daddy.
They need daddy. No, they need Dany because
yes, they do.
They need the Dany from Essos. They don't need another.
They need the breaker of chains, not the mother.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
They need daddy. Yeah.
They need daddy. That's what Tyrion said, I think.
So,
but
yeah, what would you guys then if you were in John's shoes? Throwing it back at you, Ian, Icy's since you brought it before, like what would you have done, John? If you're in John's shoes and she finally shows that she's looking for,
I would have done the exact same thing. He gave her honest counsel. He didn't lie to her. He didn't sugarcoat anything. But it's implied. He said, "Look, you can't send those dragons to burn castles and to burn people, because if you don't want to be your father." If you want to be better than that, you can't do that. That's not the way you can conquer. Right. However, and it's implied that he said, however, you can send your dragons elsewhere. Yeah, I would have done the exact same thing. And that not only wins her trust with your honesty, but it also gives her an option with what to do to move forward, which is the best move you can do.
Big Papa Matt did say, don't burn down castles, but nothing against burning soldiers on their way back home, away from common folk and innocent people.
Yeah, we're not there yet.
It's war.
What's the old saying? All's fair in love and war. There are no out of bounds in war, unless you're following the Geneva.
That when you could take out someone's supply line. Anyway.
Heck yeah.
Geneva, is that Nessus?
The Geneva? No, probably not.
Yeah. So, and then we jump back to Winterfell from there, and we get.
Oh yes.
The fight between Brienne and Arya, but not.
Oh my god!
A playful fight at first.
A sparring fight.
The heavyweight versus the featherweight.
And watching Sansa watch that was amazing.
No, what was better was watching
Baelish watch
Baelish
that.
watch
Yeah.
it, yeah.
You can Baelish watch that, yeah.
Oh, well, he knows he's in trouble, dude.
What was
Up
that,
until
Aaron?
that point, Baelish still thought that she was just a child.
Yeah, no, well in the book she's what, 12 or 13? In the
Yeah.
show she's like 14 or 15.
Yeah, about 15.
Yeah.
Important part. She's still a child to Baelish, and children are easy to manipulate and they're easy to kill.
Until you see her sword fight like that.
He proved to him at that point that she is neither of those things. And that's important.
Arya is in no way a child at this point, and watching her fight Brienne was freaking amazing.
Watching her fight Brienne,
the counterplay, the elegance, the stealth.
yes,
like
the sword was
my God.
back half the time.
The sword didn't, and in fact, Brienne started out the fight by saying, "Oh, you're not going to fight me with that, are you? That's."
And she goes, "Don't worry, I won't cut you."
and Arya says, "I'm going to cut you." Yeah, even with this little thing.
But she was finally the water dancer, man. It was.
Oh my God!
You know, you're waiting. She keeps. I get the books and I start to get the books and the show kind of intertwined because I'm listening to the books while watching the show. But there's so many times, at least in the books, where she keeps saying like, "I'm not a water dancer. I'm not," where she keeps doubting herself and her own abilities. And I think they've done a good job in the show of kind of doing that up until these last 2 episodes. And now we finally see where.
Well, now she's a full-on water dancer.
Yeah.
She's a freaking assassin.
Yeah.
At this point, after all the stuff she's gone through, the training she did, and then having to kill her mentor, or no one, or the waif, or whatever you want to call it, the waif and no one seem to be Jake and Hagar, same thing. She's killed all of those people. She killed the people that trained her. She's so good that fighting Brienne, the guy that killed the girl that.
Uh-oh. I think he froze.
he went full over. It happens every episode.
Damn it, I want to know what the rest of his point is.
I'm pretty sure that he said fighting Brienne, the girl who killed the Hound.
Yes.
Defeated the Hound.
Defeated the Hound, yeah.
Well, as far as they know, killed still.
Well, yeah, as far as they know, but still, she's not only the person that killed the Hound. She's the first woman ever to be accepted into the Kingsguard, which is no small feat by any means. And to see her dance around and, like I said, fighting with the sword behind her back half the time, so beautiful. So,
and then that last move with the dagger,
yes,
fantastic.
I mean, you could see that it was going to happen just when she pulled it out. Hand it to Brienne.
Yeah. But that was, I think, too, the scene where Littlefinger realizes that now she has the dagger instead of Bran. And he's just like, oh, okay. Okay.
The one thing about that scene that when my wife and I were watching it that we mentioned was Sansa's kind of watching this happen. And there's this look that what I get out of it is John's the freaking, Rob at first was the king in the north, right? He was leading his whole army. John was, is now a BA and he's the king of the north now. Arya obviously can take care of herself. She has for the last 3 years. Bran is the freaking three-eyed raven, and there's Sansa, And I think there's this point where maybe she's kind of still trying to find her place. And I think she's getting there, but there's still this awkwardness of she still needs someone to take care of her. It seems like
I can see that, but I still think that, like you said, all of the other Stark children have something huge going for them right now. Something that's telling Littlefinger to back off of them. So I think he's going to look deeper into Sansa, and I have a feeling that when he does that, he's not going to like what he finds.
No,
he thinks he still has control of Sansa as well.
Yeah, he does, and he thinks she's soft and she's able to manipulate it. And I think because he sees all of the other Stark children with traits that he doesn't know how to counter, he's going to try and dig deeper into her, and he's not going to be able to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Marco brings up that we have to check Ian's Icy Zoro's eyes when he comes back because the Night King probably got him.
Oh, dude.
Enzo is now the manipulator. But this goes back. This is what I wanted to touch on with this scene was this that Jack brought up in the chat earlier was where Sansa's putting on a facade with how close her and Arya are, because you see it with her reaction. She now sees Arya. She sees Arya as another
Rival?
A rival. Yeah. And you can see that with the way she reacts at the end of the fight, with the look she gives and walks off and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
So, what I think he said. So,
I think that's what he said. Yeah, I think that's what he said.
Yeah, it's good.
So, I mean, it's a fair point. You're wondering how much is actually going on in Sansa's head towards what she's not bringing everything out in the open, because after Ramsay, she
doesn't. Well, I think you were at the Game of Thrones panel. One of the things that the actress said was that Sansa doesn't trust anybody.
Mm-mm.
Like, period.
Yeah, no, she said that. Yeah, she said that in the panel. Yeah, no male, no female.
Family doesn't matter. She doesn't trust anybody, and I think we're going to start to see that as the rest of this season unwinds. So, especially like you said, as Littlefinger tries to creep his way in, he's gonna,
So it's possible.
Yeah, and Marco just brought up to what you guys were saying. The only move that Littlefinger can make is to put Stark versus Stark, and it's not going to be good for him.
Well, how does
he
how does he keep it from Bran? Is what the question becomes.
He
at this
tries
point,
to avoid Bran as much as possible.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
Bran, or makes an attempt to kill him.
Mm-hmm.
and starts pulling the Doctor Who rule where you can't mess with actual set events.
Maybe.
Time Lord.
Yeah, Brandon's a Time Lord.
He is now, kind of. Yeah.
If you go into the tree, it's actually bigger on the inside. So. So we finish with that
Or
scene,
smaller
and
on
we
the
get back
outside.
into the outside of where we have John and Davos talking about.
That was the only levity, really.
That scene was awesome. It's King Snow. No, that doesn't work, right? King John?
No, I don't
Davos?
know. No, I just like the, oh, well,
Davos.
she has a good heart. He's like, yes, I did. I saw you looking at her
Got
good
it,
heart. And
yes.
he's like, no, there's no time for that.
There's no time for that, Davos. I'm still brooding.
So that was.
Although when
Go ahead.
Tyrion walked up on the beach, he was brooding pretty good.
He was.
That walk up the beach.
He was pretty pouty. And then I love the Davos line, will you forgive me if I switch sides?
Yes.
How many kings would he have followed by that time? I mean,
Or
Missandei just shows how genuine. That's how genuine Dany's been through, telling her story of her and stuff, and the faith that she has in her. I mean, John tries to throw that in her face with like, well, if you want to go back home, you think she'd let you?
It's like
almost
she'd send
as
you
if
with the
asking
ship
to
and her
think
best
she'd be like,
wishes
oh, I have no idea, She responds.
I think
back
it's
with,
yeah. Well, he still feels like a prisoner, I think. So.
Well, he kind of is, but
He kind of is. That is.
Well, I don't. He is a prisoner. I think he can leave if now she's trusting him a little bit more, and now she's left as well. So I think he can leave if he wanted to, but he knows he can't leave because now he needs to get the
dragon glass. Well, he still needs an army, whether he has dragon glass or not. He still needs her troops. So.
Mm-hmm.
Then the very next thing we had was a reunion between Theon, aka Reek, and John.
I was waiting for this to go down. When
he's more,
it was lame.
He's more Reek than Theon.
Well, he is Reek.
Yeah.
He's Reek. But yeah, I was waiting for him to get his teeth knocked in.
And nothing. Just like the only, what you did for her is the only reason you're not dead, and then walks off. It's like, that's it?
Yeah.
Because the second I saw him getting out of the boat, I'm sitting on the couch with my wife, and I'm like, oh, he's the whole reason that everything went down. This is not gonna be good. And he just walks up to him, and
Jacked up his shirt collar though.
And welcome Jay Lee to the chat channel. So, he jacked up his shirt collar. They did the whole thing again of the same thing he got told before of, you didn't die, no, I should be dead.
Yeah.
So, everybody's
several times. No.
He's like,
and Robert brings up that Snow is a stand-up guy,
Still a bastard, but
Reek brings up the one question that creates the awesomeness to this episode for the way to go out on the episode. And he asks, where's the queen?
Where's the queen?
And they say she's not here.
Because hashtag be a dragon. You're a dragon, be a dragon. Yes.
So she does a little bit of what she said she was going to do with Tyrion, where she just wants to go and attack. She's sick of it. So
and one of the things that Matt brought up was that Tyrion had said to cut off the road to King's Landing.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's the interesting part, is that she takes Jon's advice to not go and just blow up the Red Keep, but at the same time, she does take Tyrion's kind of counsel with cutting off the road to King's Landing. She just does it her way. We finally get to see the Dothraki Screamers do what they do best, which is open field combat.
And you knew they were screwed. You knew that they were screwed.
The rumble that came from
yes, the thunder in the distance.
And then the screaming, and I mean, you saw them lining up, and you're just like, that is not going to do anything.
And then Bronn with the, you need to run because they're about to smoke our asses.
Yes.
Did you see how thin their lines were? They were two men deep the whole way around.
Yes.
Because
most of their horses had already,
the King's army, when they're standing there, they're like, okay, we're good. It's just a bunch of natives. Yeah, there's a lot of them, but we're good. And it wasn't till on the dragon come flying over that it's like, okay, well. And I think there was a response earlier about favorite part of the episode. I can't remember who said it was when Jamie just about craps his pants face wise when he hears the scream of the roar of the dragon.
Yeah.
He just heard the roar. He didn't even see the dragon yet, and you could already see him dropping a load in his freaking chainmail.
I see, Zora. What color are your eyes? We got to check real quick.
Dark brown, like coffee brown, caramel.
Okay, we're okay. He hasn't turned on us.
Oh no, I'm not like bright blue or anything.
So we just started.
I'm back. I'm sorry.
Burn the body.
We just started talking about the most epic scene of all for the episode, and that was
the dragon fight. Yes. Oh my god!
And this is just one dragon.
Yeah. And I kept on waiting for Viserys and Rhaegal to come in, but no, it was just Drogon. That's all she needed.
Yep. It was one small army.
Why take all three of them when you can just take one and mess stuff up?
And
story.
But
guys, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Hey.
All right. First off, my eyes are blue, so bite me.
Oh no!
I have heard blue eyes too.
And two, that was the worst use of cavalry ever.
Yes.
It only takes one shield wall with spikes to stop light cav.
Yep.
I'm sorry.
I'm right there with you, Jen.
Weren't there, they would have stopped.
Exactly.
They would have stopped the Screamers cold. They would have killed those horses. They would have forced the Dothraki to dismount. They used curved swords, which are terrible on foot. Those swords are designed specifically to fight from horse.
I thought the Dothraki were good fighters, but that was a terrible attack. You're right.
She had a dragon, so it didn't matter.
Trump card.
it goes back to what I was saying earlier. Tyrion has no idea how to fight a battle.
Mhm.
Okay, he can come up with strategies. He has no
Except for the
tactical
Battle of
advantage.
Blackwater.
Cavalry should have reeled and struck the flanks of that line over and over again, in, out, and then you would have had any of those Dothraki
I'm
getting
sorry.
killed.
Should we be referring to you from now on as General Jack Malice?
Yes. Yes.
You have to ask though, like, wouldn't the Dothraki have known that? So why didn't they just do
No,
that?
they're a different type of.
They knew what was behind them.
But they lost
Okay.
so many men that they didn't have to lose. They could have just reeled.
They had to play a part.
Well,
They're all about
So-
fighting, and there's 50,000 of them.
Okay. So
they
you're-
didn't have to bring any of
that
them.
battle you completely missed was that she burned. They got all the gold in, but what was still on the road?
All the supplies, all the food.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
now Cersei may have paid her debts, but she's got nothing to feed her soldiers.
Right. That's right.
Oh no, we all got that.
What was that, Aaron?
She doesn't have anything to fight. She's not going to be able to fight anymore.
Right.
She's not going to have food for her army.
They're going to siege. They can put up a siege against King's Landing, and it's going to be over.
And do exactly what Tyrion said from the get-go, was surround King's Landing and cut everything off.
Mhm.
So then is Tyrion actually right in his plans?
Tyrion is a great strategist, but he's a terrible tactician.
Tactician.
Anytime
Right.
that you have dragons on your side, you are actually an amazing tactician. There's no way around that.
And we should have Joron back, I would think, maybe next episode.
Yes, and
When
he
that's where the tactics will change.
I don't know where everybody gets the idea that Jorah is a master tactician. He's not. He's a guy that was obsessed with a 14-year-old.
He's a great
And
fighter.
He's a knight.
No, he's
a
a
really-
great fighter though.
Yeah, he's
was
a
a-
great fighter. He's a great fighter. We don't know that he's a good general.
They don't show that in the show. That's true, but in the books, it talks about the battles that he fought over and over again.
Yeah.
He trained under his father. His father was an amazing tactician.
JR, sure.
Yeah.
But
So,
you know what?
But
The books are not the show.
Not anymore, anyway.
Clearly, wildly divergent. So, do we think that Jorah is going to be a great general for Dany's armies once he gets back?
there's a difference between a general and a battlefield commander. They have a good general in Tyrion. He
Sure.
has
Okay.
great strategic thinking, but he does not know how to win on the field of battle.
That's not the question I'm asking. The question I'm asking is, once Jorah gets back to Dany, one, is she going to accept him? I think we have to lean towards yes. Two, is he going to significantly help her planning?
Oh, definitely. If you look at the people that she has that are advising her, none of them know how to best utilize the forces that they have.
Except for maybe Grey Worm.
Grey Worm is a commander of troops
Sure.
at the line level, not at the army level. He was
Fair.
never.
John and Davos maybe, but they're not committed to fighting that fight.
I would not say Davos. No, Davos doesn't. No.
Not even John.
Davos is not a good tactician either. But Tyrion really is a great strategist, man. But
Yes.
he is a terrible tactician. And
Absolutely.
strategy with no tactics is the slowest, most bloody, painful way to win a war. But tactics with no strategy is the fastest way to lose a war.
Tim,
So
as a former military man as well, I totally appreciate what you're saying. We need to find out which of these characters are going to fill those roles. And I truly do believe, and I know I asked the question, but I think that once Jorah gets back, we know he's a great fighter. We don't necessarily know that he's a great tactician, but I think we're going to be led to believe that he is.
I think so. I think he's going to end up becoming the general of her army.
He is. He's going to be the planner. He's going to be the guy that's here's where we should send people when. Or actually, no, Tyrion's going to continue to be the here's where we send people when, but Jorah's going to be the one that actually determines the battle plan on the ground.
Right.
Yeah. And you need both.
Yeah. But the question I want to ask, so within this fight, Bronn gets away to the ballista. Were those the ones
that loses his gold?
Yeah. And I thought at first he was running towards his gold. And I'm like, good God, man. You know?
He loses his gold. And that was called out earlier in the episode. It's like, that's a lot of money. And he just left it there to burn.
I was very conflicted during that entire scene because I'm like, I don't want Bronn to die, but at the same time, I'm like, no, you bastard, don't
go get it.
Don't try to kill the dragon. Like, just
this was what was bouncing against me the entire time when we saw the ballistas for the first time, and you guys were talking about where are they actually going to do anything?
Second time,
do damage. But no, I'm saying when we saw them
in action,
and if they would actually do anything to a live dragon and stuff like that. I called out that it is going to hit a dragon, but I thought it was going to be
always a wound shot.
Smaller ones.
Wound shot.
Yeah.
I thought shot is everything I was calling.
It's only a flesh wound. I think
Drogon was going to be the one that was going to get the first little wound shot.
There was never going to be, like, in the mechanics of storytelling, there was never going to be a headshot with the first ballista use.
No.
It just wasn't going to happen.
No.
Are
those the ballistas that they're working on, or was that a smaller version of them? Because I thought they were bigger, the ones that they were working on.
That one, I think it was that one travel size. That was your travel size.
It looked the same as the one that they used.
I think
no, that looked about the same. It was when Maester Qyburn, when he said when he showed it to Cersei, he was like, "We've got Smiths doing 20 more of these right now," and that was one of them.
Mm-hmm. That was definitely one.
Okay, it is no more. Yeah, that thing got kicked and burned and stomped.
I love the dragon's reaction afterwards, where it was just like, burned it, and then like the tail was like back, like
beautifully done.
Now, do you think that the shoulder wound to Drogon is going to actually like affect him?
No,
I don't either.
It might for a little while. I mean, he might be a little awkward flying, but once she got this,
but at the same time, the show is skipping months.
Yeah,
this show is skipping months.
All I'm saying,
I don't think
when he shows up, he's going to be like,
what was that, A-Rock?
If they pull a J.R.R. Tolkien and make that a weak spot on him, I'm gonna be angry.
No. There is no loose scale on his belly.
There does not,
unless they poison the ballistas.
They've already. Can I
point out something real quick? It's not a ballista; it's a scorpion. I'm just throwing that out there.
Sorry, I thought somebody said. Okay,
thank you, General Malice.
No, there's a difference. Ballistas are siege weapons.
General Malice, we're okay.
Stuff. And knock down doors. Scorpions are smaller that are used for shooting against individual units. People.
Yeah. That is a good point, though.
Yeah, or individual units like dragons.
Yeah.
Do you think they did poison the ballista bullets?
No.
They should have.
No, they should have.
If Qyburn was on his game, it would have been poisoned.
Because I mean, he seems to poison everything. So
right.
I'm wondering that would be.
That's the only way that it would affect him.
If they killed Drogon before the end of the 7th series, people will riot.
Well, I mean, there could still be
all the dragons to die, it was Drogon. That's
there's no way.
Like.
But I mean, they could still cure it, I think. But that would be an interesting. It would be an interesting twist to.
From a strategic story point, it would be good. From a purely storytelling point, there's no way that happened.
So, it would be interesting. Interesting.
It would be.
So, and speaking on that, we get into Bronn. Bronn is the luckiest SOB during this fight because he keeps getting first his horse gets its leg chopped off and
brutally. And that was a great shot, by the way.
And he saves himself from. Then he gets over to the scorpion, shoots off a couple of those, and gets away before he gets burned to hell. And then he
loses his gold.
Well, he loses his gold before that. But then Jaime sees, and this shows fight where Daenerys is not set for fighting. She gets off Drogon and tries to pull the freaking thing out of his shoulder.
And then Tyrion with the "Flee, you idiot!"
Best line in the show. Yeah,
you can tell that the one. Oh, go ahead.
What's that, Super?
I was going to say you can tell the one family member that Tyrion doesn't want dead is Jaime. I don't think he cares about anyone else, but he cares about Jaime, and he was
he's still a good man at heart.
His big brother has always been kind to him, always, regardless. After he killed his father, after he was supposedly killed Joffrey, Jaime has always been kind to Tyrion. But I love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Flee, you idiot.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And he's just picking up a lance and charging towards a
anybody
dragon's
else-
head with Daenerys next to it.
Well, I think he was going for Daenerys. He
Well, he was
Well,
saying
of course
for
he
the
was.
dragon.
No, he was definitely going for Daenerys.
Yeah, he knows he has no chance against. And I love the fact that he goes charging in on that when he told Bronn to go do the one thing, and Bronn's like, "Why don't you?" He's like, "Cause I only got one hand. I can't." You know? But when it comes to charging in towards the dragon,
And you
I
know
can do that with my one hand.
The one thing that I thought when Jaime picked up that lance and started charging, I was like, dude, that's in your left hand. Do you think you can actually do this?
I didn't think that. I just thought you're gonna die.
Yeah, I don't think he had confidence in it. I thought he thought, you know what? If I have this one shot at this girl, I'm gonna take it.
Did he have one shot, one opportunity?
I die.
Oh, God.
Mom spaghetti.
Sorry.
Bringing up some of the stuff from the chat room that's been going on. Jay Lee brought up
spaghetti.
that Bronn is a mercenary, but acting more of a right hand to Jaime in more than one way.
I'm waiting for Bronn to turn around again. Honestly,
We were talking about that beforehand. Is now that obviously Jaime is currently at this moment praying to the drowned god, but we know that he's going to get saved. We know that Tyrion's they're gonna drag his butt out of the water, probably him and Bronn. Does Bronn go back to Tyrion?
As much as Bronn is a mercenary, I think he has more allegiance to Tyrion.
That's what I thought.
I think he likes him better. Now,
well, him and Tyrion are very much the same ilk.
They're simpatico. Yeah.
I don't think it's so much a question of go back to Tyrion. I have a feeling that is Jaime going to go back to Cersei? Because
Jaime's always going to go back to Cersei, and right up until the point where he kills her.
And Marco's saying that Jaime's not going to forgive Tyrion after Tywin.
Yeah. If you remember, he said, "I'll split him in half." Is what Jaime said about Tyrion. So if I see him again, I'll split him in half.
But I don't think he will.
So I don't think so either. But
I really don't buy it. Yeah.
The important thing you have to remember is that his army's gone. Bronn only paid attention to him or gave him any sort of leeway, order him around because of the money, and he thought he was going to get a castle out of it.
Yep.
And now
you're talking about Tyrion or Jaime?
I'm talking about Jaime, not Tyrion, because I have a feeling that once they fish his ass out of the bottom of the river, it's going to be
we'll see.
That are going to be there, and he's going to go with Tyrion, and Bronn's probably going to follow Tyrion too. But Jaime's going to be at the mercy of.
Hey,
I think
you always have to remember that what Tyrion said to Bronn at the very beginning. If anybody ever tries to give you, I will pay you twice. I will beat him.
Yep, I will double it.
Yep.
Yeah. And honestly, I think that Bronn has a more emotional connection to Tyrion.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. Because if you remember, he chose to stand up for him at the beginning with no payment.
Yeah. No, I'm betting on Bronn ending up on Tyrion's side. Wherever Tyrion ends up, that's where Bronn's going to be. I think that it might be that might be one of the cruel betrayals that ends up as Jaime's downfall.
Yeah.
I don't think Tyrion let it be a downfall for Jaime. I think Tyrion is going to advocate for him no matter what.
I think Jaime is going to come to depend on Bronn, and then all of a sudden he's going to be out and gone.
I think Jaime's going to end up switching sides entirely after seeing everything.
I don't think Jaime's going to end up switching sides. I think that at the very last moment he's going to end up cutting his own sister's throat because he realizes they've been doing the wrong thing the whole time.
She's going to die being choked out by Tyrion. That's prophecy, brother.
It was Belancourt. It was the little brother, and Jaime was also born after Cersei.
But Jaime's only got one hand, so it's going to be hard to choke out. His sister
No,
with
they never said choke out. They just said you'll be
with
killed.
the hands around your throat. I believe is the actual.
You still got the gold one.
That's true.
So
wait, let me rephrase.
Yeah, there you go.
Just the one moving.
And that was the episode for tonight. And there was just
Dragonfire Supreme.
Yes.
Marco said that it was an episode that he gave an 8, and that there's still better to come. So we'll see.
True. Cersei hasn't died yet, so
I think they're still ramping up. As short as they have cut the seasons, they have things to do every episode. I think it's just gonna get better and better. And if it gets better than
because we're halfway there, right?
If it gets better than a 20-minute dragon attack, I can't ask for anything more.
We haven't even gotten into the White Walker actual full-on war yet, either,
right?
So
you can even see that this season.
I don't think.
Actually, we're going to get some of it next episode. We know that they're attacking the east.
Do we?
East Watch into the wall. Yeah, the East Watch.
East Watch by the March. Is that?
Thing? That's the preview for next week. Is the White Walkers are attacking East Watch.
Fair enough.
So
I just got a little half butter.
Thank you once again for joining us. Even those that they came a little bit later, Jay Lee, Marco, as always, thank you for coming.
We appreciate you.
The chat room's still going, really fun.
Yes.
Robert, if you guys aren't here during the live cast, as we always say, come back when we do this live every Sunday. Any of the casts that we do live, they are a hoot chat room. So,
a hoot,
but yeah, if you guys like this video, make sure to hit the like button, and please, if you want to see more of our content and our videos as we put them out, make sure to hit the subscribe button on there. We're gonna run really quick where you can follow everybody. First and foremost, due to the bandwidth issues, we haven't gotten as much from Jack as we would have liked to have gotten.
General Malice to you, sir.
General Malice.
You can follow General Malice, Jack Malice, at Twitter at Jack_Malice. You can also follow the main website that we all come from, malice-corp.com, and Malice Corp is the @ for Twitter.
Nerd news, y'all.
Nerd fight.
Yeah. Where can we follow you, Super Hoovian Freak?
Follow me just on Twitter at SuperHoovianNut. It's going to be an interesting week, so lots going on.
Yeah, she's got Gishwis going on, so it's, it's crazy.
I'm trying to help too.
It's insane. Freaking Misha.
Icy Zoro, where can we follow you?
Straight up at Icy Zoro on Twitter, and also on Instagram, Icy Zoro.
Awesome, Mr. Beacon.
Yeah, you can follow me at Beacon_Malice Corp. You can follow our MaliceCast at MaliceCast on Twitter.
And Aaron.
Hey, Ron.
Follow me at Das Newport Kid on Twitter.
Where can we follow you?
Das Newport Kid.
Like German
so if you guys didn't hear that,
Das Newport Kid.
On Twitter, Das, DAS,
like
Newport Kid.
Das Newport
on Twitter. He has some great opinions and ideas.
Yes.
It's a fun read. For me, you can either follow our podcast at MaliceCast on Twitter, or you can follow me on Twitter at Mest_Malice Corp, or you can follow me on Instagram at Mest5150. As always, thank you for coming out. Thank you for sharing this with your friends. Thanks for giving us your thoughts and your opinions and everything. You won't see it right now, but I'm going to point to it anyways. If you guys want to watch last week's podcast about the episode, you can go in and click on the video that's going to pop up right there. If you just want to see our most based towards you, you can click right there. Or if you want to subscribe to the channel, you don't know where the subscribe button is, you can click right there and there'll be a little logo that'll pop up. So thank you for coming out. We'll see you guys tomorrow for Preacher. And next Friday, we will have our MaliceCast live as well.
Yes, Preacher.
You guys keep nerding on.
Peace.
Yeah. So stay Hodor out there.
We're only here because you're here. Thank you.
Stay Hodor out there.
Stay Hodor out there.
Stay Hodor out there.
You stay Hodor.